In 2020, nearly 65 million people reported a recent case of back pain. Of those, 16 million reported chronic back pain. Today, I'll talk about the four main causes of back pain, and guess what? It ain't your back. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. My name is Butch Phelps, and for those who don't know me, I'm a functional massage therapist, a certified health coach with an educational background in aging sciences, studying how the human body ages mentally and physically. One of the main complaints that I get from people, especially as they get older, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, is back pain. It can be low back pain, upper back pain, or even neck pain. Many think that the pain is due to the fact that they're getting older, because aren't we supposed to get stiffer as we get older? The truth of the matter is that it happens to everyone, young and old. Getting older and getting stiffer actually is a sign that you are rusting up. Think of an old car. If you use it on a regular basis, you maintain it, you keep it greased and oiled, the car can last for 200, 300,000 miles. Take that same car, put it in a garage and not use it for 10 years, come out and hit the starter to start it, and it may not start, and plus it may not run very well once it starts moving. That's very similar to how the human body works. So today I'm going to talk about the four main causes of back pain, and what may surprise you is I'm not going to talk about your back. Why? The back pain is a symptom of something else happening in your body. When you get to the point of bulging disc and herniated disc and pinched nerves, yes, in the moment when we find those things, that's a direct cause of pain that you're having today. The question we want to ask though is, how did that disc bulge? How did that disc herniate? How did we pinch that nerve? Because it just didn't happen, boom, overnight. The truth of the matter is that what has happened is that over your lifetime, due to a bad posture, sitting way too much, not stretching out your body the way that you're supposed to, has allowed the disc in your back to dry and not stay lubricated with what's called synovial fluid, which is actually like a WD-40 in the human body. Over time, that can begin to break down the disc between your vertebrae and lead to damage on the vertebrae itself. So today we're going to look at the four main causes of why your back is hurting, and we're going to deal with lower back pain, upper back pain, and even a little bit of neck pain. So let's get it started. The number one cause, the one I see probably 85-90% of the time with all my clients over the age of 45, are usually the quads. Now, in our world today, we sit a lot. We sit to eat dinner, we sit in our cars. Most of us have jobs where we sit behind a desk working on a computer. And while we're sitting in those positions most of the day, it causes the quadriceps, which are on the front of your thighs, there's four of them there, to actually shorten. So if you think about with me sitting in this position now, my quadriceps here are in a shortened state. If I stand up, and these are tight, my body will tend to lean forward like this. But none of us want to stand this way because it makes us feel like we're old. So we'll contract the muscles on the back side to stand up straight. We can do that for a short period of time, and then over time the muscles on the back side will actually fatigue out and go into a spasm, which sets up and causes the back pain. But that's the symptom. You see, that back pain was created originally by the quads on the front side of the leg. So how do you know if it's your quads, or how do you know if it's your hamstring? So if it's your quads, what you'll notice most of the time is that if you try to stand up after sitting for a while, it may take you a few minutes to get your back pain to stop so that you can walk away. Getting up out of bed may have the same problem. If you lay on your back and your legs are straight out in front of you and you notice your back pain comes back, but if I put a pillow under my knees, the back pain goes away, you've got a good chance that's going to be a quadricep that's tight, either one or both of your quadriceps on the front of your body. Or the final thing is that as you're standing, the longer you stand, the more your back pain hurts. However, if you sit down, the back pain goes away. Now you're still looking at the strong possibility that that's your quadriceps on the front side. I've got videos that will show you how to actually stretch the quadricep. Oh, and while I'm talking about that, most of the time we do a quadricep stretch in the gym, we'll stand on one foot, pick up our heel, and we'll actually try to put it up to our hip, thinking that we're stretching our quadricep. The reality is we're really not, because what we want to stretch is the upper part of the quadricep, not down around the knee. In my videos on the quadriceps, and you can send comments to me, or you can send me your email address, and I'll be happy to send you that stretch to stop that if you're dealing with that pain. Once you learn how to stretch that correctly, then what happens is you have the power to stop that pain. So let's go on to number 2. Number 2 are the hamstrings, and they're on the back side of your thighs, and there's 3 of those muscles there. Those hamstrings work with your calves in rotation, but allows you to bend forward. One of the common things I see with tight hamstrings is that a person sits in a chair, they're trying to bend down to tie their shoe, and they can't reach down and get to their shoe because their back hurts. And the reason being is that the hamstrings themselves are tight, and the more they lean forward and try to extend those hamstrings out, it causes pain in the back. But keep in mind that while you're sitting, you're starting to extend the hamstrings as well. So the tighter they are, sometimes if it gets tight enough, even sitting in a chair can become uncomfortable. And that's why so many people will sit in a reclining chair, because it takes the pressure off the hamstrings, which reduces the pain in their back. Now, for many people, they'll think that if I can bend down and touch my toes, that I can stop that by stretching out my hamstrings. There's a few flaws with that. Number 1, bending down to touch your toes not only incorporates your hamstrings, but also the 4 calf muscles below. If your calf muscles are tight, the hamstrings cannot release. Number 2, since you have 3 hamstrings, it could be the middle one, the outside one, or the inside one. And if you don't know the right angle to get in to stretch all 3 of those, it could be a futile experience. Again, if you'll send me a comment and you're working and you're having issues like this, I will be happy to send you the link to my stretches for the hamstring and the calves, because like I said before, you're going to have to do both to make that work correctly. Then there's the inner thighs, number 3. Now the inner thighs work very similar to the quadriceps on the front. You may in fact actually feel some of the same things. Now here's the difference between the quadriceps and the inner thighs. If it's the quadriceps that are causing the pain in your back, the pain is typically to the outside edges of the back. If it's the inner thighs, it usually shows up right in the middle of the low back. Because the inner thighs work with the quadriceps, that shift from the outside to the inside becomes important. Because as there's 4 inner thigh muscles are pulling every time you take a step, or every time you try to stand up, it's going to shift again the pelvis forward, which increases the compression on the back. The 4th area is going to be the calves. And I know this is going to surprise so many people, but here's the thing. Your calves being tight can actually lead to neck pain. And let me explain what I'm talking about. Most people, when they stretch their calves, they get on a slant board, they lean against a wall, or they drop their heel off of a curb or a step. Let me be the first to tell you that you've never stretched your 4 calf muscles. What you stretch is your Achilles tendon. Now I know everybody in the world that teaches calf stretches, they're going to teach you one of those 4 things to do. But the truth of the matter is that you're only stretching your Achilles tendon. And there's other videos I've talked about that if you don't stretch out the 4 calf muscles correctly, you can even wind up with things like plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis. But in this case, dealing with the neck, what happens is every time you take a step, you cannot bend your ankles beyond the 90-degree range, which is where most people in the country are today. When you cannot bend your ankles beyond the 90-degree range as you're walking, watch your friends. And what you'll see is you'll see them lead with their nose as they walk. It's almost like they're leaning forward as they walk versus leading with their belly button. When you do that, what happens is that you're putting a tremendous amount of pressure at the base of your neck. So the rule is that for every inch your head leans forward, the pressure at the base of your neck increases by 10 pounds. So if your head leans forward, let's say it starts out at 10 to 12, if it's setting up on top of your shoulders, it moves forward an inch, now you're talking to 20, 22 pounds. If it moves forward 2 inches, now you're talking 30 to 32 pounds. That's a lot of pressure. And what will happen is it will cause the chest muscles, and there's 2 on each side here, to shorten, and we'll get into that in another video. But as these shorten, the shoulders round in, and you get that old man or that old woman look where your head is leaning forward, shoulders are rounding in, it looks like you're beginning to get a humpback. And it all started with your calves. Now here's a caveat. Once you loosen the calves and soften your feet, most of your foot pain will also disappear. I've seen it 100 times in my clinic. And I'm telling you, once you do it the right way, it works like a champ. And again, like I've offered before, if you are interested in learning how to actually stretch your calves correctly, and even working on your feet to soften them up correctly, if you'll drop me a comment down below with your email address, or you can contact me at butch@musclerepairshop.com with your email address, I'll be happy to send you a link to the videos of that particular stretch to help you fix that. So all 4 of these things are important, because what happens is that if any of those areas are tight on your body, it will actually increase the compression on your spine, which can lead to bulging disc and herniated disc and pinched nerves down the road, which may require some other interventions to be able to solve that problem. My thing is let's solve this before you get there. And if you're there, let's try to take some of the pressure off so we can lessen the damage, and maybe in some cases we can be lucky enough to actually reverse it to some degree. But the thing is it's a daily stretch. You're not going to be able to do this every once in a while or only when you feel pain. Watch your dog or cat. Every day they stretch every day for 2 or 3 times a day. You must do the same thing, but don't think about it in the way we've stretched before. Like I've said in all my videos, most people when they think of stretching, they think of pulling a muscle like you're pulling taffy. That is strength training. That is not stretching. What you want is to learn how to breathe, allow the muscle to relax, and let go. And when you do that, and you do that each day, you can actually start to get your muscles to soften up. You want your muscles to be soft, not hard. Now, the last thing I'm going to say before I go today is that too many times people look at stretching as something to do as a warm-up or a cool-down. Let me be the first to tell you, if you've never heard this, it's neither. The stretching should be done first thing in the morning, last thing of the day. You can do it during the middle of the day if you want. But the point here is that as you start to relieve the muscles on an emotional level, you can start to relieve the muscles on a physical level. And I'll discuss more on that into a later video. But for now, if you enjoy what I'm talking about today, please subscribe down below. Ring the bell so that every Friday when I put out a new video, you'll get a message for that. And finally, if you want more information, you're welcome to go to my website at www.musclerepairshop.com, and I'll be happy to talk to you about anything that you like. And we can now start talking to you by Zoom to see if we can help you out that way as well. But for now, see ya.